for joining us. It's Tuesday, November 15th. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm very excited because I have an amazing special guest with me here today. I've got Paul Blackburn, who is the managing broker of two of our Chicago-based offices, North Center and the Goose Island offices. And he is here today. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks for having me.
Because recently he hosted an amazing workshop for his two offices, and it was all about generating referrals. And so when I got a glimpse into the class and the details of it, I knew I had to have him on coffee. So make sure to grab your cup. I hope it's hot. I know Paul's got his, and look, he's got a great coffee mug, right? And let's jump into this next episode because we've got some great stuff to talk about. All right, Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here and talk about this topic.
Yes, and this is such a great topic that we're actually breaking it into two sessions. So you get to see Paul this morning, but he will be back next week to wrap up this great session about generating referrals. But I want to get into the first question, which is, you had this idea of having this class right now in this market. Tell me why you feel like it's so important for agents to be thinking about generating referrals as we go into next year.
It's huge right now for a couple different reasons. I think number one, we're going to see a lot more referrals in the coming year because agent advice is going to be more important than it ever was before. So we want to make sure all of us are in the right position to go ahead and capture that business. Plus, what you'll see today and the next week are a lot of actionable items that you can actually work on now, next week, and into the new year, and you are definitely going to see some results from it.
And I love it. I love the word actionable, right? Because sometimes we give people ideas that are more theory or concept, but agents say, tell me what I need to do to make a difference in my business. So we're going to give that to you. But first, I want to kind of talk a little bit about the three buckets that in this class you talk about putting some of your best clients or people in your sphere of influence. And you talk about these categories being satisfied, loyal, and evangelist.
Yep.
So can you break down those three categories and tell us a little bit more about how our agents should be looking at their own sphere of influence and figuring out who are my satisfied, loyal, and evangelist clientele?
Great. So a satisfied client is a client that, they're satisfied. They were happy working with you. They were satisfied with the transaction. But these are the same kinds of people that will fight you on price. They will beat you up on your commission. And 3 or 4 years go down the road and they meet somebody else and they're now working with them. It's a satisfied client. We all have those. Then there's the loyal clients. And for those of you who have been in the business for a few years or even longer than that, you would not be where you are today if it wasn't for loyal clients. They will do business with you and nobody else but you. But there's a third kind. And this is really where growth happens in business, and that's the evangelist. And that is the client or even the person in your database who maybe you've never worked with before, but they tell everybody what a rock star you are and how amazing you are and why when it comes time to move, they should be using nobody but you. That's the evangelist.
I love it. And what I love that you just talked about is the fact that an evangelist could be somebody that honestly you've never helped them buy or sell personally, but they believe so much in what you do as a real estate agent, they're referring you all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so an evangelist is obviously not something that you just get overnight, right? So I think the idea is probably having to nurture some of those people in your database and identify who you want to be an evangelist. So let's talk a little bit about the CRM, always our favorite topic here on Coffee. We know it's yours as an agent, but let's talk about the CRM and categorizing. We have A's, B's, C's, and D's. And so, you talked about these three buckets. Let's focus on where I think we want to get everyone, which is to get as many evangelists as I possibly can in my database. How do I look at that from a CRM perspective?
Correct. So the A's, those are going to be your evangelists, and they do not have to be people who you have worked with before, like we just said. A lot of people think that, and that's not the case. So what I really want a lot of people to do, and what we talk about in the class, is to take a look at your past clients, take a look at your database, your friends, your family, and think, who do you want to become evangelists? And who do you think have the connections to be great evangelists for you? And we're going to categorize them as A's, and we're going to treat them as A's.
I love it. And because I think too, sometimes as agents, we get so overwhelmed with who to focus on in our database. So I think one of the things you're recommending is let's get to the A's first and figure out who they are, because if we can target them, odds are we're going to see some really great growth trajectory.
Exactly. And we can keep it simple by just looking at that one item, and that's the A's.
I love it. See? So Paul right here on coffee just broke it down and made it easier for you. He wants you just to target and focus in on those A's. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, okay, so I've categorized my my database. I'm feeling pretty good about knowing who my people are, but this is about generating referrals, so it's about, you know, getting ready to reach out and be probably proactive. So you speak about referral generation really in two parts. In the class, Paul talks about earning the right to ask, and then the toughest part, simply asking. So can you tell me a little bit more about this earning the right to ask? Because I think this is, to me, so critical when we think about wanting to get more referral-based business.
Yeah, it really, really is. Because at the end of the day, if you just go up to a random person and ask them for a referral, if they don't trust you or they don't see value in you, you're not going to get that referral. But when you earn the right to ask and you show that you really know what you're doing, guess what? When you then go ahead and make the ask, you have a much higher chance of actually getting that referral. Yeah. So that's why we broke it up into the two parts: earning the right to ask and then asking.
All right, so, you know, the asking is the part that's nervous for a lot of people, but I think the earning the right to ask, if you get to that space a little bit easier, then the ask won't be quite so hard,
exactly right?
That's the idea behind it. So let's talk a little bit about getting agents to that place where they're comfortable asking people, or basically being the individual where clients or consumers want to buy their expertise.
Exactly.
Tell me some of the things agents can be doing to get into that space so that it isn't them saying, hey, work with me, but really their clients are saying, holy cow, I want to work with Paul because he knows his stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have to understand that, you know, and there's a lot of specific research around this. You know, what does it take to actually earn referrals, whether we're talking real estate or consulting or anything along those lines. And what we're seeing out there right now is that, you know, what do people want from the client-agent experience? And they want to buy you, they want to buy your level of expertise and your thought process around the market. So you have to be able to provide some unique market insight. And here's the great thing, right now with the shift in the market, that insight is more valuable than ever before. So what are some things you can be doing? One, you really need to stay on top of the market, and not just with basic market stats of, you know, supply, where we're seeing pricing, but a lot more forward thinking about the economy as a whole. You know, so for me, I'm a big CNBC person, so that's what I love. I read Inman every morning. I get the Inman emails, and I go through that to see what's going on in the national level. And then we also look at a lot of local market stats as well. So I really want you to think about, if you were out there in the market today as a buyer or a seller and you were not a broker, what would you want from your agent, from that experience, to make you feel comfortable with what's going on in the market today?
I love it. I love it. And, you know, I think another person or individual that you're close with as an agent is your lender. And I think with what's going on with rates right now, I think as agents, we're really trying to understand that. But your lender partners really are watching this on a daily basis and are a really great place to get that kind of insight, you know? So it doesn't have to be just you reading the news. It is, who are you talking to so that you can have really good conversations? It's talking to your managing broker, such as, you know, somebody like Paul or the managing broker kind of out of your office. It's really making sure that you're dialing in and having conversations so that you're reading, but you're also in flow with real-time dialogue of what's happening in the market, and you can give that to your clients.
Yep, exactly right.
Yeah. All right, so Paul, as we are getting into 2023 and starting to think about next year, and I know a lot of our agents are business planning, so we're talking about getting their CRM ready to go. What else do you feel like agents can be doing? I know we talked about the places they can go to get news and get information, but is there anything else they can be doing right now so that they will be in that position where people want to buy them and their information and their insight?
I'd say refine the processes that you're currently using. On the buy side, on the sell side, even on the rental side, look at how you are explaining your process to your clients or even to a friend when they ask you, oh, how is it when you work with a buyer? What do you do? At the end of the day, the best salespeople are what? The best teachers, right?
Love it.
Because you're able to make the client feel comfortable throughout the entire experience. And that's another great way to earn the right to ask, because then that person, after having just such a great experience throughout the entire process and feeling comfortable, is also going to feel comfortable referring you to the top people in their life.
I love it. I love it. All right, so that is the first part of our generating referral sessions with Paul Blackburn. So what I want you all to do is go back to your database, take a look at your A's, right? Figure out who your evangelists can be. Then we want you to start thinking about, how am I going to set myself up to be the type of agent that my clientele want to buy my time, right? Buy my time, buy my information, be the ones who want to reach out and learn more from me in this market, right? And make sure that you are a great teacher, because I want you to wrap, Paul, with that stat that you gave me off air about referrals in general. So let's finish with that, with this great business.
Referrals in general, it's over 83% of clients, after satisfied and really good experience with you, are willing to refer you. Less than 30% do. Close that gap, grow your business. It's as simple as that.
Love it. Close the gap. All right, so make it a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back next Tuesday where Paul and I talk about actually asking for those referrals. All righty, so make it a great day. And until then, you got this.